power through the Astros on the backs of an incredible start from Cooper Criswell and some late heroics from Roman Anthony. They win in the 10th inning, 2-1. Could have been a little higher than that if the game kept playing, but of course, it's ruled as a single. It was an easy double for Roman, I would say. Ultimately, they win 2-1. Their record raises up to 60 wins, 51 losses, taking game one against the Astros, which is just huge. I'm Nick the Voice, joined tonight by Charlie Smith and Doug from Dedham, and we are the Bastards of Boston. Now, if you want more, you can go to bastardsofbostonbaseball.com for great written articles. Charlie, Doug, let's start right out the gate with Cooper Criswell. I like to call him Cooperstown Criswell. That's a nickname I came up with about 45 minutes ago, and honestly, God, does it stick. What a surprise from a guy who, funnily enough, last year was full of surprises in a lot of ways.
I mean, great outing. I mean, the one home run in just the second inning and then just locked it down.
Yeah, I can't complain. He did more damage today than he's done in the last 2 months because of opportunities that haven't been presented or not presented, however you want to look at it. He gave you the statement performance that you absolutely needed. I don't know what to say. I was without words. I'm like, all right, this could either completely blow up in our face or you see what happened tonight.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. He's always been kind of the guy who needs good defense behind him. It seems he's not a big strikeout guy, but the defense tonight played pretty darn well. And in part, I would say we have to thank the Astros for playing some really strange baseball. They were very weird on the base paths tonight, making all kinds of outs. I forget who it was, but trying to stretch to third, right? That was fairly early on. Altuve got picked off at first base. Later on, even in extras, you had the catcher try to make a play at third base rather than just taking the easy out at first.
Right.
Very, very odd decisions by the Astros. They looked a little asleep, and that's coming from a team that's been really good on the base paths and really good fundamentally all year long.
I'm going to also add that it wasn't just that, but also left field plagues teams that don't play at Fenway regularly, and that's also going to be applicable to the players that don't spend a lot of time here. So their new left fielder, that was brutal. It looked like a fan might have touched one of them, but he missed one. It went foul. And the other one he caught, but barely made a reaction. It was like, oh, I got it. And then threw it in. But by then the runner's already scored. So we got a sac fly out of it. And that's why we were where we were. But I mean, it was just a funky game. There might've been added pressure because it's a player playing for a new squad and whatnot. But I mean, I want to go back to Criswell for 2 seconds before we talk about it. And here's why I think we need to give him his due. We have pitchers that are averaging between 17 and 20 pitches an inning, and that's why they don't go 5 innings. Criswell averaged 12 pitches an inning today. Only 2 players really did any work against him outside of Christian Walker, who obviously had the solo shot over the wall. Jeremy Pena had a couple of singles. He had 3. And then you had Sanchez as well, who had a couple of singles as well. So it was like there wasn't too much that really worked in their favor. And honestly, how do you not give Crystal another opportunity?
You have to.
You have to give him another shot.
Have to. With Walker and Fitz, I mean, you have to. The way he looked, I mean, he's getting like he's not when you get in contact like that, and he's not a K pitcher like you said, Nick, but when you just throw strikes and you rely on your defense, even though we had 3 errors, but when you know that you can keep it inside the park and you can just throw strikes, that's how you get through innings like that.
Definitely. Just in general, a lot of confidence, I think, would be a good word for it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, 7 hits in 7 innings, only 2 walks. That's just great. None of us could have expected him to go up against Hunter Brown and really pitch very similarly. Hunter Brown was, of course, a lot more efficient, I would say. Only 4 hits, 1 walk from him. That kid looked amazing. He sort of fell apart towards the end, and I was very thankful for that. We were able to get that 1 run off of him because he was looking pretty close to unhittable up until that point. But the guys just played some really good baseball. This is a team, I feel, who the batters like to take a second look. They like to take a third look. It seems like the Red Sox right now, they're kind of a cerebral team in their approach. As bad as the situational baseball has been, they really like to break down what a pitcher does, and they seem to get to them later rather than sooner, which can be frustrating sometimes, can be nail biting sometimes. But in a game like tonight, I mean, it certainly helps you elevate late in the game. Of course, 2-1 offense needed to do more, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about Hunter Brown for a second, this is a guy that's been in the league only for a couple of years. Like, this is really year 3 for him. He's been pretty consistent, but he's going to be one of the future superstars of the league. Is he going to be Tariq Skubal good? I don't know. Is he going to be, Garrett Crochet good? I have no idea. But you're still seeing like the young guy reactions. Like, he didn't get his pitch, and then he yanked the next one and hit Yoshida in the, I think it was like forearm area, and that actually kind of looked a little rough. And we just couldn't do anything with it. It was just unlucky. But I mean, he's going to be great. 9 times out of 10 against somebody like Hunter Brown, you're probably losing that game. He's not going to be as pitch efficient as Criswell was in today's game. I don't know if he could do that again. But if you have Hunter Brown, you should be able to get him more than 1 run. This is like the Garrett Crochet effect where, oh yeah, you have your superstar pitcher on. We'll give you 1. Let's just see if you can shut it down.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and he had that little meltdown after he didn't
You
get
saw
his pitch.
it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and Laz Diaz
everywhere.
is so bad.
He was
there was
everywhere.
one where he was so bad up and in. There was one that got called a strike to Christian Walker. Christian Walker stepped out, looked at him like, "What are you doing?" And then there was like a low and inside. I think it was low inside. Was it to Story?
It was on Romy, I think.
Oh, it was Romy. That's right. It was Romy. That's right. Who ended up grounded out, and Cora's just going like, "What are you doing? Like, how do you miss a pitch that like you're so far off?" But yeah, oh god, don't get me
Most
started.
of them were in our favor until Romy.
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, there was a little yelling here.
Definitely.
Oh yeah,
definitely. It was one of those zones where for a lot of the night, it looked very pitcher friendly in general. And then it just started to take a turn where it started to go for the hitters. And I don't know if he was like looking at his watch and was like, oh, it's getting a little late. Maybe, 1-1. Ooh, that's a little tight right now. We got to get out of here. Right. But, overall, it did seem to be at least a consistently inconsistent zone in some ways. I'm interested always in seeing the ump scorecards that Twitter account does, which is always so fun to look at.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I feel like that's like what Bayo's figured out a little this year is not melting down.
Yeah. It's a big thing. Composure is a massive part of this sport at the end of the day, and especially for pitchers. You have to keep your head in the game. And as soon as you like become conscious of yourself, almost as soon as you start to overthink things, that's when you start to get in your own way. Pretty much a lot of it's muscle memory until it suddenly isn't. And you start to say to a guy, all right, now remember to breathe manually right now. And they're like, oh no.
Yeah, Brown will figure it out.
One thing that was really strange was early in the game, we had a couple opportunities, it felt, to score throughout the game. And one of those big opportunities was, of course, in the 3rd inning. You had a fly out from Willier, a ground out from Ceddanne Rafaela, but then you had Roman and Alex Bregman with back-to-back singles. And it was the strangest thing how there was a throwing error by Jesus Sanchez, and it looked like Roman could have scored, but there was a little stutter step, and I'm not entirely sure what it was. And I as frustrating as it was after the fact, I almost gave him a bit of credit, because it's one of those things I feel like, with Duran up, if you have any doubt in your mind at all, you 100%. Probably shouldn't press forward.
100%. How many times have I yelled and been like, damn it, why are you taking chances? You are not good enough. I don't care who you are on the team, especially with Duran up or coming up. Why would you risk that? You have a runner in scoring position, 2 runners in scoring position. Why risk it? It's Houston. Houston's got a better team than you do. Hunter Brown is pitching. Why risk it? How many times have we been caught, with our pants down, like dawdling in between 2nd and 3rd or 1st and 2nd on just stupid plays? It's just unacceptable. Mistakes are unacceptable for a reason. I'm okay with that. And when that happened, I'm sitting there like, all right, I can let go of that because of who's up next. No, if Connor Wong is at the dish next,
right?
You might take a liberty
with 2 outs. Connor Wong, yeah,
right. But with Duran, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I wouldn't do that if I was me. Like I just wouldn't do it. But I'll
It just
shut
showed
up.
Roman like he's so patient with everything,
Super patient.
right? If he doesn't
Super
like it, he
patient.
just doesn't take it. And the
Dude,
third base coach
he's
sent him.
ready. He is him. He is ready
Yeah,
for the
he's an
show.
absolute stud.
I mean, I'll say this much. As far as that whole game was concerned, Trevor Story won it. Yeah, it was a double, the little swim move, and everyone's doing the same thing. I'm like, wow, the chemistry's coming. The players are getting along again. Devers is probably sad he's not here. But like everything is going great. We didn't score, missed opportunity. Bottom half, or excuse me, top half of the next inning, he guns down. Was it McCormick at
I
home?
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And it
think
was just that was the play of the game. I was like, right there,
right,
you've got to
right.
win in this inning. If you don't win in the
Huge.
bottom of this next inning, you lost the game.
Oh yeah,
You
especially
lost
with
it.
that lineup coming up.
Oh, 100%. You
Yeah,
have to win the bottom half of that inning.
yeah,
And they got unlucky with the decision. They wanted to get the out at third. It backfired. If you have a runner at third and Roman hits that ball where he does, you still lose the game. So
right.
people can blame the catcher for making the mistake that he did. I don't think it was a mistake. He did what was the logical thing. Try to get the out at third. Try to keep this a no-run game here. You're still tied.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially because you look at the like who's in the hole right now, who's on deck. You know, you could say that, well, if they got the runner out, it would have freed up a base. But then you walk Roman Anthony, and now Bregman is up. So do you just walk him too, and then pitch to Romy and hope for a double play? Maybe that would have been the smartest move, but that's a lot of ifs. I mean, that's a pretty big chance to take. I guess the only advantage in a situation like that is 10th inning. Well, we can't lose by more than one run, you know.
Right.
So, not like a grand slam really means too much different. I think we all need to give some props to Trevor Story because this is a dude
Oh
who
yeah.
we were all, just about everyone in the Red Sox space was saying, get this guy off the team back in May. Get this dude out of here. He had a hot April, so what? Get him out of here. Get Mayer on the team where he belongs. Get the shortstop of the future up here. And for a while, we had both of them because Bregman went to the IL, and then we had all three of them, and now quickly it's down to just the originals. Meyer, unfortunately, looking not too good. The news. We're hearing that he might be healthy to return this year, but it is a bit of a maybe right now. I'm not sure of the extent of his injury, but it is devastating. That being said, Trevor Story, like it or not, he has become an extremely important part of this team, not just because of the injury, but he's playing well. Like right now, F-War has him at 1.7 right now, which is perfectly fine. B-War has him at 2.3. So he's doing good,
Yeah, no, he's looked great. Everyone's talking about Bregman's leadership, but he's right there, and he's really leading this team. And his defense has come along. He had a bad throw tonight, but like he makes great plays. He seems to not just get hits, but get big hits. And, that's what we need from our veterans.
I'm going to say that I was one of the two people, and I'm going to go behind Jeremy here. Jeremy, if he's listening, would say that I believe the expression was try to find a way to put him on the Phantom IL because it's Story. And for me, I don't know what I want to do. I didn't want to DFA him. We've had former bench people say, yeah, DFA him, but they want to DFA the whole team. They're just dumb. I don't understand how you start the way you do because he tore it off. He just was amazing the first month, completely fell off the second month, and then started to, I want to say it was like the Atlanta series where he almost missed a home run, like deep center hit off the wall. Then he started to kind of figure himself out again. Trevor's back and he's been healthy. He's been doing everything possible. He makes an error, that happens. He more than made up for it today.
Absolutely.
He made up for it. So yeah, you've got to give Trevor Story props. Anybody that wanted to DFA him, we got people in the comments saying, I was one of those people and all that stuff. Like, yeah, there's a lot of people when people start to struggle. Yeah, you want to DFA them. I'm sure the same thing would be said for half the other team. Or if you look back or listen back, people probably said the same thing about some of our superstars. If Jaron was struggling, if Devers was struggling, like DFA him or trade him, whatever. It's going to happen. People are going to go through ruts, and it's the responsibility of the rest of the guys to try to pick him up while he's struggling, because there's a very good opportunity that one of those other players is going to struggle and Trevor Story's going to pick them up like today. So yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't see how even when Meyer comes back, you're not going to play him over him. So
No.
I mean, unless they just want him back at second, but probably. But who knows? I mean, I don't. He had that injury last year, right? Same injury,
Right.
and weren't they not happy about how he came back from it or how long it took him to come back? I think
Maybe.
the managers in AAA didn't love how he handled it.
Oh, I don't remember. Did they say it was the exact same injury?
I think it was the same wrist. I don't know if it's
Oh, same
the
wrist,
same
but
injury.
different. Okay.
I think. I don't know the exact injury.
I don't know if you have the players going off, and here's the thing: if the situation is working and there's no problems, why would you change it? Why would you fix it? There's nothing to change. There's nothing to fix. So in this circumstance, it's the same thing. Like with Meyer, or even potentially like another player too outside of Meyer. If he's out or another player goes down, if the situation is working, slowly but surely put him back in. And to your point too, Nick, I know you're talking about, okay, do you start walking the next two guys and then face Romy? Romy against lefties has done well. It's like Rob Refsnyder. Like they've both done pretty well against lefties. It was a weird graphic. Did you guys see the graphic that they showed about Wilyer Abreu against lefties this year?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I missed that.
It was against lefties I think it's in his career. Against lefties, he has 115 at bats. He's hitting 191 with 2 home runs. His OPS is 558. Against righties in 665 at bats, it's 269 with 35 home runs and an 841 OPS. So I'm sitting there like, all right, the odds are in your favor. He had a deep rip to right, just barely went foul. And then there's another one, first base jumped up. That was obviously more foul. And then he burned him 97 or 98 up and in. No one's hitting that if you're lefty. Barry Bonds can hit that pitch.
No, I mean, I thought he gave a good at bat.
Yeah, it was
He
great.
definitely did.
Yeah.
You could tell that Abreu wanted that walk-off so badly. And what I really liked from him was his approach, because we've been talking about with Wilyer Abreu, he's kind of a swing for the fences guy, and it didn't really look like he was swinging for the fences. He was swinging for a win. Let's just put us ahead here. Let's try and score a runner. And he fouled off, I think it was 4 or 5 pitches, and they were good, man. They were close. Just a little too far this way, a little too far that way. And, I felt for him at the end there. Did you see, speaking of Wilyer Abreu almost doing something, did you see him out in right field? I forget what inning, but he busted it for a fly ball, and he dives for it, and that thing just goes right by him. And I was like, you know what? I love the effort.
Yeah. He's not fast.
He didn't take a great path for that.
No.
He's great, though. I mean, I really do love Wilyer, and I love Jaron. And obviously, the guy said a ton on the deadline yesterday. I don't think there's enough that can be said on the deadline. But where I'm at right now, as angry as I am about it still, as disappointed as I am, if you were to ask me, are you happy that Duran and Abreu are still on the team? Yeah, absolutely I am. I love these guys, you know? And sure enough, I absolutely believe that if we are still to make the playoffs, those two guys are going to be massive parts of our journey there.
Right. It's funny that you say that, because there were some people that were saying, "Oh, Durant to San Diego, it's a done deal." I'm sitting there like, head in hands. Damn it. Why? How? I'm looking for outlets. My wife's cousins are texting me. They're Padres fans. They're all West Coasters. And so I'm getting it from every direction. It's not fun. But nothing is saying, okay, confirmed. It looks done, but nothing was confirmed. The San Diego Padres are kind of like a weird team. There was rumors that Jarren Duran was going to go to San Diego and we were going to get Dylan Cease back. Not only did the Padres not trade Dylan Cease, they got a boatload of reinforcements. They got Ryan O'Hearn. They got Mason Miller, flamethrower from Oakland. They didn't trade Cease. They didn't trade Tatis. Padres, I think, got like an A or an A- at the trade deadline. We're one of the teams like with a leaky faucet. Like, it's just, we didn't get it done. But to your point, Nick, am I happy that they didn't trade them? Absolutely. Do I think we could have done something else involving some of those younger players that don't have that much time and gives those other future teams the potential to mold them into something that they want or put them in a new position? Yeah, we definitely could have done something with those types of players, and we didn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, if we got Joe Ryan and it came up, oh, we traded Duran for Joe Ryan, I would have accepted it. But
I would have struggled.
But he's the funnest player to watch on the team.
He's very fun. Yeah.
And it's so I am happy that we get to still watch Jarren Duran every day because he is very fun
Same.
to watch. When he turns the singles into doubles like he did today.
The lizard running.
It's just good.
The whole
really
head,
is.
it's like that. It's like the gecko. It's hilarious. I love it.
And he's clearly way better in center field than left.
Yeah, definitely. He does seem more comfortable out there.
Nick, actually, I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, John. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Nick, I think was it you that was talking about like the speed different, like either speed or pure athleticism between Rafael and Jarren Duran. They have a different way of getting to the ball. They'll still make the play, but it's just it's a different way of seeing it. Like one's like, he barely got it, and the other's just like, it's just easy. It's easy. Yeah, it's fun. They can still get there, and Duran has superb speed. Rafaela still has good speed, but they play the same position in a different way. They still get to the same end result. But
very true. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, to your credit, I did enjoy hearing that because I'm like, guy's got a point. That's not wrong. It's true.
Yeah. Is our best lineup with Cedon at second?
Yeah, I think it has to be. Unfortunately,
if Meyer comes back, is he even going to get that spot, or is the best lineup Cedon?
You don't. Yeah, if you have a choice between Cedon or Marcelo, I think you have to put Cedon there.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point,
you just drop Yoshida out of the DH spot.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, at that point, we've seen enough from Yoshida to know exactly what to expect there.
Right.
If he's going to contribute this year, he's got to start hitting the ball. And we're seeing flashes here and there, but he just needs to get back to that high 700s versus righties that he did last year. If he comes out and he does exactly what he wanted last year, I think Meyer maybe, I want to say he replaces Hamilton, but even then, especially in the playoffs, you want that X factor. That is the speed off the bench, right? So it's very, very strange. It's a weird roster. And it's a shame in some ways, as we've said, because the old way of the Sox now, going back, I don't know how many years, but we've been trying to preach this idea of flexibility. And it feels like right now, aside from Cedon Rafaela, we don't have a ton of flexibility.
Right.
One guy that I wanted to shout out to, a couple of minor leaguers I would like to actually put a spotlight on. I saw that the password, Yastinson Garcia, is learning a little bit of first base, which is really, really interesting. I really am happy that he's still here. We can talk about the May trade in a little bit here because I certainly have a few words on it. There is, and when we get to the probable pitchers, we would have found this out anyway, but I think it's worth noting now. Dustin May, who was supposed to pitch the final game of this Houston series, has been pulled from that spot, and Lucas Giolito is now in it, which is very interesting. And I don't want to speculate or anything. It could be a wide variety of reasons, but part of me is almost like, were the Sox prepared to lose tonight? And they were like, oh, we can't get swept by the Astros right out of the deadline. Criswell, Buehler, and May. Come on. Everyone was making that joke before the game. So I almost wonder, that's not really a serious, suggestion, but it is a funny thing to think about. But, I saw that David Sandlin made his first AAA start tonight. He actually played very well. 5 innings pitched, 1 run, 1 walk, only 4 hits, 4 Ks. Really nice to see. I noticed when I was looking at the Sox prospects that a lot of transactions were made, including Miguel Bleis moving up to AA, which is a big surprise. I know he and Sandlin both were big names being thrown around for trades. These are guys we expected to get rid of. Bleis especially is a Rule 5 guy. I don't necessarily think he'll get Rule 5, being that he just got to AA this year. But also Mikey Romero, who is having a hell of a resurgence. And he just got added up to Worcester. And this dude this year is making a legitimate cause for himself as a middle infielder. I mean, it's great to have options, especially if the rumors are true that teams like the Yankees are interested in guys like Hamilton. What do you guys think of all that?
Go ahead, Doug.
I think, I love the password getting get him play at first. I think Campbell, he's been getting a lot of reps at first. I think I could see him getting called back up soon. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see the password get more reps at first. Yeah, and Hamilton, I mean, if you're gonna get something, I mean, you know what I mean. But I don't know. I don't know what the Yankees were thinking, even wanting him, to be honest. But
I'll say this much: if the password's going to play first base, I mean, he, as it stands, not a first baseman by trade, right? But is absolutely torching in AAA as opposed to AA. Still did well, but now he's just killing it in AAA. There are other people that, you've talked about Mikey Romero, and that's nice to see. But this is all like I kind of feel like this was due for so long. This was a team that like prioritized, oh no, we have to keep seasoning our rookies and our players in the minors. It's going to take them an extra year, maybe 2 years. And they're still not ready. They're still not hitting Oppo. So we have to keep, it's just dumb. So it's nice to see players actually getting promoted, perhaps earlier than expected. But you know what? It's been working out for some of these guys. I'm still curious with what we're doing with Vaughn Grissom. He's been doing really well. That's one guy you didn't talk about, or at least just mention. We have a player sitting in Worcester right now that we got via trade for a Cy Young pitcher, which if he was here, obviously he'd be on the IL, but would make this team better. So I'm curious because Grissom plays second, can play third, can play short. If I'm not mistaken, at one point was also being considered to play first base. So, I mean, I'm curious about him. The David Hamilton thing, I only think that people care about that aspect because of Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts had the most important steal of all time in Major League Baseball history. Anyone who wants to debate that, you're more than welcome to debate. You are wrong. And I think they would want to have just that one thing that they would need possibly in the 9th or 10th. Not too long ago, David Hamilton came into the game, stole second base, right? Yeah. The Dodgers have a guy named Asturi Ruiz who led the league in stolen bases. He came in. It wasn't a question of when or if, rather. It was just when. He was going to steal second, and he did it clean. I think it does help certain teams. But having a player like that on your bench, because he's not a starter, he's not going to be a starting second baseman or shortstop. It's just not realistic. That's an ace in the hole you really can only afford to have if you have all of the other positions covered. If you have that on your bench and he's taking up a spot of like a Vaughn Grissom or a potential password if you need him, it doesn't make sense because what's going to be more valuable? Having that incident player that's only going to come in maybe once every 3 or 4 games for a possible chance in the 9th inning you need to get a stolen base, or having some guy that has some pop that could possibly cause damage multiple times in a 3-game set or a 4-game set. So if the Yankees want David Hamilton, I don't know what they would have given back for it, but I would have entertained it. I like David Hamilton. I don't think he's a bad dude. But if the Yankees are really desperate for that, that doesn't move the needle for them. That doesn't make the Yankees a playoff team. So our loss is not really a gain for them. It's a temporary gain and only not temporary gain, but like a gain with like an asterisk, only if applicable, So yeah, I'm not sad that he's gone, but I mean, it's whatever, it doesn't make the team immediately better if the return wasn't incredible. I'll shut up. I mean, that's my 2 cents.
Do you think any of these guys can get called up for the playoffs?
You're asking me if any of these players are going to get called up? I don't think the password's going to get called up this year.
You think Campbell comes back? If he's playing first, I think that's all. I think probably his best shot.
Yeah, it probably would be his best shot. I don't know if Toro's going to keep this up. I don't think he's going to. And
they've been able to ride it because it's been okay, but it's just hard to put your faith in Toro at first.
I would agree with you, but also remember that the reason why some of these players got their first opportunities were because of players who got injured or players who got traded. So if Bregman doesn't go down, one of your rookies doesn't get called up. Devers doesn't get, traded. Yoshida isn't all of a sudden miraculously recovered and coming back soon. Like there's a reaction to the action, and it's like it's tough. I really don't know. I think in order for Campbell to come up or possibly Vaughn Grissom to come up, there's going to have to be injuries. I think it's just going to be that because that's just what we've seen this year.
Yeah, I think especially with Campbell, a big thing is going to be a look at his mechanics. I know from just the little bit that I've seen, he's looking a little more comfortable at the plate, but I know there was always some
Right.
questions about his swing and how it didn't really compare to anyone in the majors, which is always kind of weird, when you have a guy who you can't immediately say, oh, even if it's a guy like Harrison Bader or something like that, it's kind of strange to not be able to say, oh, this guy sort of swings like this guy. With him, I think the big thing is you don't want to rush him back, of course, because we sort of rushed him into the league. He did great. Then the league kind of figured him out. He looked overwhelmed. I do think that in a month or 2 months' time, I could see a possibility where Toro, they say, you know what, man, the numbers have caught up with you. You chase at everything. You're just, let's just ride with Campbell and see what happens, in a playoff series or even just down the stretch in September. I wouldn't be surprised by that. It's really going to be, what does the developmental team see from him? What changes is he making?
I would want him on the playoff roster.
Yeah. I mean, he certainly not deserves it because, that gets into a question of like, oh, well, who deserves anything,
Yeah.
But it would be really nice to see like a redemption arc for him. You start the season so great, everyone's talking rookie of the year, then he sort of tanks, negative WAR, and that's tough for a kid who has probably had a ton of success throughout sports his whole life. You always wonder, man, you hit a bad rough patch like that. How are you feeling about it? How are you going to deal with it?
Yeah. He had a hit streak going, right?
Yeah, he's doing very well down in AAA right now, which is great to see.
Yeah. I think his hit streak, what did it get? It got like, did it get up to close to 12? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's when you bring him up. I don't think you should wait for him to get hot and then get cold again.
That's fair.
Like,
Makes sense.
I mean, if he's doing it, like, I mean, just bring him up and see it. Have him play first base, see what happens.
Now, I want to talk briefly about a couple of our relief pitchers tonight. First off, how nice is it to see Whitlock and Chapman both healthy again? Whitlock, right? You had that scary moment in the Twins, that whole series, where it's like, oh, Whitlock is like sick. He can't come out. Chapman's back hurts. When he left the game, almost a week ago, I was like terrified. I was like, oh my God, is this it? Is this the shoe dropping? Is that because he looked rough? Like, it didn't look arm, thank God. It didn't look leg, but it looked like he was like, oh God, something's wrong. You could tell during that whole thing, his velocity was down. So to hear that it was just back tightness and to see him come out and throw 100 miles per hour again and, just smother the side, those guys make you feel so good to come out. And props to Weiser for having a great 10th inning as well.
Right.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Now, one guy I'm sorry to say goodbye to, how are we feeling about having Matz in the bullpen, right? Because as much as I love depth, I don't think you can have too many good players on your team or on your roster. Seeing Bernardino go, that really sucks.
Definitely. We've been relying on him all year. I mean, he's had some, up and downs, but he's been mostly good, and he's the guy we call to more than anyone else, pretty much, right?
Yeah, I think Weissert and then probably
Weiser, yeah.
I'm okay saying goodbye to Bernardino. I've said this multiple times. Like, this is a guy who every sixth appearance is a nightmare, and I'm sure he's a great dude. But there were a couple of things that happened, and we've called upon him a lot. Greg Weissert, same thing. He's also leading, one of the team leaders in appearances, and in Major League Baseball, I don't know where they stack up, but they're probably among the leaders. There was one game in particular, Bernardino's had these moments where he starts batters off 2-0, 3-0 back-to-back, or three batters in a row. I'm like, get him out. It's not happening today. And that sucks. And that can happen to everybody or anybody, excuse me. There's one game in particular, though, that I didn't really like. It was when he exited the game, he started cussing hummed his glove like down the hallway. And I'm like, dude, I don't think the team needs this right now. You're having a really shit day. I feel bad for you, but you got to pick yourself up. If you want to be here, this is baseball. There's 162 games. There's 162 tryouts before the games that matter actually happen. To me, that was one of the moments where I was like, I don't know if I can trust him when it matters the most. And I don't think I've ever said, okay, this is the situation, bring in this guy. I've never said that about Bernardino.
That's fair. Yeah.
Now Matz is a different monster. Matz is someone who was, I believe, he started off as a starter. They tried extending, kind of stretching him out a little bit. It didn't work out. He started to suck. Then he became a reliever. Then it was like spot starts, and it is what it is. I want to see what happens with him. I really do, because this is another, Garrett Whitlock. You have a guy that can pitch multiple innings, and truth be told, I probably feel more comfortable with him pitching 2 to 3 innings over Whitlock, because we've tried that experiment, and then that experiment usually ends up with a 6 to 8 month hiatus of him being injured. I don't want that anymore. So that's the Matz train. I'm probably I'm not in the majority here. I'm probably in the minority. I'm appreciative for what Bernardino was able to do. The problem was he was used way too much too soon, and I'm thinking he just got burned out.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I mean, I'm willing to take the chance on Matz on that.
I was afraid because Bernardino did look terrible in June, but then so far in July, or all of July, not so far, it's in the books, scoreless July, 12 innings pitched, a 0 ERA. I mean, I agree with you, because I also don't see a situation where I'm like, oh, and here's where we bring in Bernie. But it also just it feels like he's just been almost symbolic in a lot of ways of this roller coaster of a season. You look at Bernardino, this is a guy who we sort of lived and died with in the idea that May, where we struggled so badly, we ran him into the ground. Exactly like you said, it looked like we broke him. And then he sort of got a couple days off and was like, oh my God, I can move again. So I don't know. Like I said, there's no such thing as too many good pitchers on the roster. I hate to even say this out loud, because it's like you're speaking it into existence, but injuries happen, unfortunately. They happen a lot in the game of baseball. If we go from here on out without a relief pitcher injury, I would be very surprised. I obviously don't want it to happen, but we are in a better position to recover from that.
And we haven't mentioned Hendricks at all.
Oh, no. He's gone, as far as I'm concerned. He's yeah, he's in the Vaughn Grissom and the Masataka Yoshida, gray zone.
He's so done. We're not going to see him. I don't think he's ever going to throw another pitch in Boston ever again. I mean, I think the last appearance he had, wasn't that the Milwaukee game? Was he the one who gave up the grand slam? The one that I was like, he's going to hit a grand slam right here.
Maybe. Let me see.
Anyways, I haven't seen him pitch since around that series. I'm pretty sure that was the last time he was here. I'm okay not seeing him. Yeah, it was fun while it lasted, but that was another science experiment that just didn't work out. I appreciate Liam Hendricks for what he was able to do. Has an incredible comeback story, which not many people can actually return from, but it's not. This ain't it.
Yeah.
It ain't.
Yeah, that was all the way back in May 27th.
May or June.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's on the Phantom DL.
Yeah, it's a shame, Now, one thing I tweeted out the other day is that I feel very bad for Dustin May, the human being, right now. Because imagine being set up to fail that badly by the people in charge. This is a guy who's just going out there. He's had a rough career. He's dealt with so many injuries, so many setbacks, and this is a guy who is heralded for his raw talent, his raw ability. Everyone told him, you're going to be this stud starting pitcher. You're going to be a star. And unfortunately, he just hasn't been able to put it together. This year, he has pitched more innings than he ever has before, and he is, quite frankly, not good. Now, I think that there are arguments to be made. Maybe they can tweak his arsenal here and there. I was looking at some of his individual pitches, and it looks like so far this year, he throws 4 pitches He throws a sweeper, a sinker, a four-seamer, and a cutter. Now, the sweeper is used 41% of the time. The sinker is used 36% of the time. He almost reminds me a little bit of a Giolito, where Giolito came in with like that 2-pitch combo. For him, it was a changeup fastball. And we were like, all right, you've got to get something else. Right now, looking at the numbers on his pitches, Dustin May's sweeper has been pretty good this year. His four-seamer has actually been pretty darn good this year when he's used it. His cutter and his sinker are getting absolutely destroyed. They need to figure out what to do about that because, I mean, you can't be a starting pitcher with only two. If it was just one of those 4 pitches, I would say, okay, just drop it. Drop it and see how that works. But you can't drop both, you know? So I mean, I hate to say it, I'm completely negative about this, the prospects of this. You know, his bosses set him up for failure and sent him, it said, hey, Merrill Kelly, nah, Dustin May, you know? It sucks, you know? I don't want the guy to get booed, but it's going to happen when he has his first bad start.
Definitely. And it's tough that his last start was when he was in Fenway getting crushed. So the last thought that Fenway fans have before they even knew who this guy was that this guy stinks.
So, you know, I've said this multiple times. My wife's a Dodgers fan. Her side of the family, her parents, all Dodgers fans. So Red Sox, Dodgers baseball can be a quiet time or not quiet, depending on the situation. And we've talked about Dustin May so many times, and he has crazy stuff. At one point, like, you look back at that game, if you look at the log, I mean, we if you watched it, great. If you didn't, struck out 5 out of 6 guys, and you're like, oh wow, here we go. But this is one of those guys that's throwing 17 to 20 pitches an inning. So after 100, he's probably at 5. So he's going to be a 5-inning pitcher. That's not telling you top of the rotation stuff. That's like back end rotation, and you're just hoping maybe you get lucky, you get a win. He's had moments where he can get it done, but that's not to say that he will continue to do it. He's pitched more innings this year than he had in the prior 3 combined. That's crazy when you think about it. He's never been able to put a full season together. Now, Dustin May has a stupid like sinker, sweeper, however you want to look at it. And that thing has like 24 to 30 inches of movement sometimes. It's crazy. It goes from across from one side to the other. And batters don't swing because they're like, I can't hit that. It ends up being a ball anyways. So they know if they're seeing that pitch in the mid upper 90s, it's not going to be a strike. And the bad thing about it is he doesn't know where it's going. Will Smith, his catcher, didn't know where it was going. The backup catcher, Dalton Rushing, didn't know where it was going. And that's a nightmare. So there's a difference between control and command, right? He can't command or control anything right now. So it's a little bit of a disaster. Maybe the Andrew Bailey pitching program can work with him. And maybe he does become a guy that just flips a switch and then lights it up like a Christmas tree. Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, at this point, we have no choice but to give him a chance. Because now he's here. It doesn't help him or us to say, he's done, this sucks, turn the page. Maybe he does strike out 10 or 11 guys in his next appearance. That'd be awesome. I would love to see him strike out 10 Dodgers. That'd be great. It's not going to happen because I don't know when we face the Dodgers next. But yeah, you know, it's just going to be one of those things. And who knows? When we got Nick Pivetta from Philadelphia, this is kind of like a turning the pages multiple times back. We were like, really? Nick Pivetta? Really? And he had some good years. He did really well. And then he did some frustrating things too. Yeah. But it worked out at times. And I'm hoping that Dustin May can do that. You know, hopefully there'll be some good moments. There'll be some damn it moments, but hopefully more yay moments, you know? I'll leave it there.
He has a crazy story too about how he missed time from he choked. You hear that about that story that he choked on like a salad or something, and when he was choking, he went to drink water and it went down the wrong way and it filled his lungs with fluid.
Yeah,
and he had to have like surgery. Thing. And then right when he came back from that, he had Tommy John.
God, that's
it's
a crazy. Yeah, he has a crazy story.
I heard someone make an allusion to something before, but like it was right in the middle of the game, so I was like, well, whatever, I'll just bookmark that.
Choked on a salad or something.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. You look at the guy. He came into the league at 21. Debuted next year. You figure he's probably going to be a starter. He finished 5th in Rookie of the Year, only 10 starts. And you look, he has come into the league every single year as a starting pitcher for the Dodgers, and he pitched 56 innings, 23 innings, 30 innings, 48 innings, missed all of last year, and now he's up to 104. Just a weird decision to trade for, a weird return to sending Tibbs over and essentially saying, okay, Rafael Devers, big part of that return is going to be half a year of Dustin May, where, even if you could say Dustin May had 3 more years on his contract, maybe you could say, okay, I see they like what they see, blah, 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 blah. Just bizarre. Talk about setting up a guy for failure. It really is. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
I hope I eat my words. I can't wait for him to, win us the World Series in Game 4 against the Dodgers, but it's rough. It looks like we got another Walker Buehler. And to echo back to something that you said at the start of the show, Charlie, which is how do we justify not giving Cooper Criswell another start after this?
Oh, you have to
tell him you're going down to AAA. Dustin May's taking your spot.
Yeah, no, you have to. And with Dustin May, I mean, I don't think the Dodgers were thinking, okay, he's a part of the future. You have Blake Snell coming back. You have Roki Sasaki coming back. Already, both of those names are sexier than him. No offense to Dustin May. Dustin May is someone I wanted back during the Mookie trade. Basically, I'm looking at it like, great, we got him back in 2020 and nothing's really happened from it. We basically just donated Tibbs. We didn't get Tibbs in that trade, so we got 3 other players, that's it. So May wasn't a part of the long-term future. It's a short-term rental. He has no control after next year. He's a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So the Dodgers were like, okay, cool. We get a prospect and we remove one aspect of our starting rotation that doesn't have a long-term home. He's not going to be here in 2026. So yeah, maybe we'll get a good prospect out of it. Honestly, if Tibbs turns out to be great, I kept saying it's going to take 3-4 years minimum before we can find out if that trade for Devers was bad or really bad. You just traded a part of that I was really looking forward to in the 3-4 years. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And I was expecting Tibbs to go just because of the password, but I was expecting him to go in a package for someone legitimate. You know what I mean? I was expecting a Merrill Kelly type of pitcher or even a Joe Ryan deal with Tibbs being a part of that. And instead, we just got Tibbs as well as, I forget the guy's name. He was our number 30 in the system, according to Sox Prospects. It's an incredible overpay for me. The nice thing, I guess, if I want to look at his Savant page, Dustin May, he keeps the ball on the ground. He strikes out an okay amount of guys. That's about it. I mean, you look at the chase, you look at the whiff, you look at the walk rate, you look at the hard hit rate. It's a scary pitcher. Can we fix him? We don't really have a choice. We need to. Yeah. And what's interesting is just glancing, I just realized that they didn't just push his start back until after Houston. He is essentially pitching in Criswell's spot. So we're going through the whole rotation before we reach Dustin May in Kansas City, or with Kansas City coming to town, rather. So very interesting choice. Maybe, I mean, it's probably for the best. Give themselves 5 days to tweak little things, look at the numbers, look at the metrics, let him get settled in instead of saying, okay, move across the country, go get him, champ.
Yeah. Side note, the Yankees lost.
Yes.
I just got a text message. I was about to say, my friend said, stop complaining like a little, you know what? He goes, all of the Yankees relievers that blew it are new.
Yep. Jules pointed that out too.
Duvall blew it. Bednar blew it. Bird blew it. A combined 2 1/3, 9 earned runs on 9 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts,
and 2 errors
runs.
in right field too. So they're missing Judge, just as we expected.
That's insane. Crazy. I can't believe it. It won't happen again. That's insane. It just sucks that's the first day.
I believe when this wild card standings updates, because it's not showing the Yankees loss right now, I believe that means we're only half a game back from them. in the wild
yeah.
card standings for that first wild card, which will be very, very interesting to see. The big question is, are we going to be able to keep this up? You know, obviously the offense needs to do better than they did tonight. They're not always going to be facing Hunter Brown, is the good news. But we need our team to simply play the best baseball that they can, because the Mariners got better. The Yankees, I was going to say got better, but I can't really say that tonight, certainly. I would say the Rangers got better. The Royals got better. They smacked up the team they were up against tonight. I forget who. It might have been the Blue Jays, actually. They added Yastrzemski, actually, trying to get a little bit of outfield power, and I believe he got a home run. So this is going to be a heck of a race in the finals here, where we're down the stretch. We got a couple months to go, and before I said that it was really 4 teams pointing the guns at each other, saying whose is this, I would dare to say that may have expanded to 5. You know, if the Royals can shape this up, they're only 3 games out. And you never know with the game of baseball what's going to happen. Do you guys have anything you'd like to add?
I'll say
before
this.
we go to the probable pitchers?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're looking at teams that absolutely depleted their entire farm, or not their farm, their entire team. Like Minnesota basically has what feels like a whole new team. They sold everybody off, and one of the players we saw today. So you got to see Correa again, and he's, you know, a shadow of his former self. You've got 6 games for the remainder of the season against the Baltimore Orioles. I feel so bad for that franchise's fan base. They basically, you know, they put them through the ringer. We're building up, we're restocking, we're getting everything ready to break it back down in 2025. So you got 6 games against them. Then you got Cleveland. You got 3 games against Cleveland. You also have 3 games against Arizona. They blew their team up too. They got rid of multiple outfielders. Eugenio Suarez is gone. Some pitchers, gone. Relievers, gone. So you've got, let's see, that's 12 games right there. And I don't know how many more games we have in the, let's see, was it 111 minus 12? So 111, 12 is 23. So you got 40 games left. If you can win maybe 45% of those games, on paper, you look like you actually are going to stay above water, because in those 12 games against those teams that absolutely suck, you should be winning probably 9 or 10 of those 12 games. They're crap teams. That being said, there's going to be some of those other teams that you face, you're probably still going to get your clock cleaned. I don't anticipate that we're going to do really, really well against some of the teams that we still have remaining on the schedule. I think we're going to be above 500. I do think that. And I think that we are going to be positioned to be in the playoffs. I just don't think we're going to go that far.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, we did this last year. We actually did a predictions. Every single person picked the series, like picked the matchups. And for the most part, we were hovering around like 48 to 50%. And then we just had like one streak where, I mean, we were getting 7 in a row wrong. Like these, oh, you can't lose this game. We'd lose it. Oh, this one's not going to be a win. We won that one. So it was just nuts. But I mean, if you know, we talked about it earlier, Nick, right? Not taking that chance to try to advance home and see what happens because you have Duran coming up next. Don't take chances. Don't blow opportunities that could actually offer even greater success by just being patient. Umpires are one thing, but players have to also understand, like, just try to understand, try to be patient and understand that you're not the best team in baseball. You have to work a lot harder for the same result. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
Just play clean baseball at the end of the day. You know, we saw it from Anthony tonight.
Right.
We saw Story play, obviously had an error, but with a really, really smart throw home and a great throw home at that. The guys are playing good baseball. So you just have to keep on doing it, unfortunately. I feel bad for the team. I imagine it's very demoralizing to go, what were we, 17-7, I think, in July, and not get really any help. Have a front office say, no, we don't think that, you know, you guys deserve to have anything. Oh, it's just a little too expensive. And I'm tired of the politics too. I
Right.
really would have much preferred if Breslow came out and simply said something like, give me a definitive answer. You know, you don't need to, you know, break the unwritten rules. You know, you don't need to tell me exactly who said what, but say, you know, we wanted to get a really high leverage guy, but really every conversation involved Duran and Abreu, and we weren't ready to give those guys up. Give me something that makes me feel like you have some conviction and like you have some plan. Don't dance around it. Don't put
Right.
Toro in the cleanup spot. Obviously, that's a Cora decision, not a Breslow decision. I don't know what went into that. That was preposterous. Just the other day, Just the other day, I was apologizing to Trevor Story in the cleanup spot. I was saying, I said that Trevor Story doesn't really belong in the cleanup spot, but he's been hitting pretty well there. And then they move him out of it. So it's just the darndest thing. But
nonsensical.
Let's see. So tomorrow we have a 4:10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time game. Colton Gordon versus Walker Buehler. Then on Sunday, August 3rd, 11:35 a.m., it is Framber Valdez versus Lucas Giolito. Should be a couple of interesting matchups, actually, just glancing at these guys. Framber Valdez we know very much what he is. I remember him coming up for the Astros still as a rookie. I remember watching him pitch against us, and I swear that was one of the most frustrating games I've ever watched, because it's like, we're hitting this guy, but the ball's not going anywhere. And sure enough, that's what he likes to do. He has a 62% ground ball rate. Absolutely disgusting. Just beyond elite. Should be a really fun game to watch. Hopefully Giolito brings his A game. But first, Walker Buehler versus Colton Gordon. Gordon's a weird one to get a read on. He's all right. He's got great control, but funnily enough, he's almost the inverse of Framber Valdez, because he gives up a lot of fly balls. How are you guys feeling about this? Where do you think the series is going to go?
I never feel confident with Walker on the mound. So,
I'm the only Walker guy on the show. I'm the only guy that still likes Walker Buehler. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win the second game. And I also hate Houston. Everybody knows I can't stand Houston. When Carlos Correa got back, I bet him and Jose Altuve were like, all right, like, how are we going to cheat against Boston this time? The two of them are sitting in the corner scheming like,
Altuve is still big boos. Still big boos every time.
Oh God, yeah. Correa's gonna get even more boos now that he's back in the motherland.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's me though. Red Sox.
And then for the Framber versus Lucas Giolito game.
Giolito's looks great. It's obviously tough to pick against Framber, right? But with the way Giolito looks, and if Charlie's right and we win Saturday, I think the crowd's going to be real. I guess it's tough to say the crowd's going to be into it at 11:30, I guess, actually. but maybe. The crowd was loud tonight. So if we're going for a sweep, I think people will show up, and I think if Giolito just gives you a chance, that's all you can ask for. I like our chances.
I'll say this much. I would love it. I think you definitely have a pretty good chance of splitting the end of the series. You're going to take it if you win, right? I don't know when the latest MLB The Show update happened, but if it didn't go through, Giolito's not going to be up to date with the players and whatnot. And that's just like a little jokey shot at Giolito. I love that he was open and honest about that. I love the show. I'm burned out from it myself. It's great. It's a lot of fun. And I'd probably get wrecked if I faced him in real life or in the game. I think Giolito probably also knows that Framber is so overpowering as far as the skill and talent. 2 of his last 3 starts, he's had 10 plus strikeouts, and he's good for maybe allowing 1 run. Houston's not a bad enough team to probably get swept. Although I will say in your defense, there is that chance. So I love that you're thinking it could be a sweep, but I'm going to say, I'm going to leave myself open for that, like, possibility that they're going to split. It'll go win, loss.
Yeah, right now I'm going into both of these games with an idea that we can win both of them, but I don't know which. I'm sort of feeling like both are kind of a coin flip. So I want to say we're going to win this series 2-1. If you put a gun to my head and said, all right, which of these next 2 games are the Red Sox going to win? I'm going to go, oh God, I don't know. What's more likely, Walker Buehler pitches a gem or Framber Valdez blows up? I've got no idea, brother.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
I'll say we're going to split from here on out. I don't know which one. It'll be a heck of a game to watch, both of them. And like you said, we'll see just how wired a crowd can get at 11:35 a.m. Get some espressos out there, get the guys in the stands.
It'll be more than espressos going out there.
Yeah. This team is so electric, and it's so fun, and I love the personalities, and I love the players, and I hate the management and owner. I'm like losing my mind. where part of me is like this
Right.
bitter curmudgeon where I'm like, oh, John Henry and Craig Breslow don't deserve any success. But like Jarren Duran and Lucas Giolito and Garrett Crochet and every other guy I can name, they really do, you know? So it's just like what I said after the Devers trade, man. I'm stuck here for better and for worse, unfortunately. Yeah. Hopefully we can play some good baseball and make this season one to really remember for the right reasons rather than the wrong ones. Until next time, I've been Nick the Voice, joined by Charlie Smith and Doug from Dedham. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. We really appreciate it. Let's root for the Red Sox and see if we can't take this thing from Houston tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye.